Three, two, one. Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binaries. Welcome to a special edition of the WraithCast / the Chamber of the Wraith video chicanery whatnot, because good lord, could David Zaslav keep his mouth shut for 3 seconds? My name is Barbara. I am joined by Honey, Maddie, and Mono for the largest WraithCast in quite a while, and today, thanks to that slip up at the damn investors call, we're talking about Mortal Kombat 12. More specifically, 5 things each that we want to do. So before we talk about that, Mono, can you give us the 411? What the hell? What happened? What happened?
So there was some sort of Warner Brothers investor call or something along those lines, and I guess David Zaslav, aka my worst fucking enemy, decided to go, oh yeah, by the way, we have all these games coming out, blah 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 blah, and Mortal Kombat 12, and I'm just very casually, very nonchalant, as if he didn't really care, and immediately everyone was like, wait, what? And funny story, I literally was just minding my own business, and literally earlier that day they had released Capcom had put out another Street Fighter 6 trailer, so I was like in a bit of an excitement high, just thinking about that trailer, and then my friend was like, oh my god, they announced MK12. I'm like, what? Immediately got pulled out of it. I was like, huh?
Well, and the thing is, too, they did this the same day they had that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League gameplay trailer, too, so it's like, oh good lord.
Yeah.
As much, look, the whole being permanently online thing pretty much turned me off from buying the game. Otherwise, it looked pretty fun. Plus, it introduced me to Hack, but it's like, David Zaslav, stop it! Alright. Before we get too far into this, let's do a quick rundown of what's everybody's quick history for Mortal Kombat. Have you guys played a lot of the games, or are you just a casual fan? What's what? We'll start from the top and work our way down. So, Honey, you first.
I am not a deep Mortal Kombat player. I've played a little of 9, where I really enjoyed Noob Saibot, and I believe it was 9. It could have been 10. Did Noob Saibot die in 10 or 9?
Noob Saibot showed up in 9 and did not show up in 9.
Okay, it was 9 I picked up randomly while I was in college. I played it for a bit. I really like Noob Saibot. I've engaged with the story mode for 10 and 11, and that's about the extent of my experience with the game. I never, because I played Injustice, and that was really my realm into NetherRealm's style of games. I never really touched the Mortal Kombat stuff.
Yeah, that's totally fair. So mostly Injustice, but otherwise kind of more of a casual peripheral thing.
Yeah, I've touched the series. I'm aware of it, but I tend to play other fighting games.
Valid. Maddie, how about you?
Yeah, casual fan. I started with 10. I picked up 11. But I do that thing where, I'm into the actual physical thing only surface level, but I get deep into the lore, so I'm, reading wiki pages and stuff. I do that with Warhammer, mostly.
Well, how else are you gonna keep track of the lore in fucking Warhammer?
Yeah, oh my god, those wiki pages are genuinely textbook size. Holy shit.
Good lord.
And the Horus Heresy spans 60 plus novels. Jesus. Anyway. But yeah, I'm not so much into the games, a little bit into the lore. I couldn't even get 5 things down. I got 3, but my third point is kind of detailed, so I make up for it.
Cool.
But yeah, just here and there. I'll boot up, play a few matches, and then delete the game. I play first-person shooters, so
right,
I'm not really a fighting games guy in general. But yeah, I like it. It's good.
That's cool. How about you, Mono?
I've been a fan for 11 years now, which is kind of wild to think. My first game was MK versus DC, and I got pulled in purely for the DC side, and then I was like, okay, Mortal Kombat's neat, and it all went downhill from there. 11 years later, I'm still a fan, even though I've had my ups and downs with the franchise. I'm also like for those who've like literally known me, like I'm a huge fighting game fan, and Mortal Kombat was my gateway drug into the genre as a whole. So I appreciate MK a lot for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, that's valid. And well, pretty much like Mono, pretty much the same thing. I got into it. Well, except I got into it via MK9 because Kratos was a playable character, and I am a huge God of War nerd. So it's like, hey, I get to have Kratos beating a blue ninja, other blue ninja with big honking gazongas, green ninja with big honking gazongas, and this WWE wrestling looking asshole with a cow skull on his head. But since then, I got hooked, and really it set in by the time of Mortal Kombat X, because, fun fact, from when I got MK9 until Mortal Kombat 11's release, the only character I ever played in MK9 was Kratos. Exclusively Kratos. But then MKX happened, and then I just kind of got into it. I ended up getting all of the games. I have all of the mainline titles in one form or another. I have watched all of the movies. Annihilation is still the worst Mortal Kombat movie. I don't care what anyone says about MK 2021. It is at least okay. Save for what the fuck they did to Natara, you bastards! And
I like the movies, pretty much all of them. I haven't seen the very first one. I like Annihilation. I thought the latest one was just a decent blockbuster, like that was all it was.
Yeah, literally. Cute. It had some cute nods here or there, but it wasn't anything to write home about, if we're going to be completely honest. But yeah, I got super into MK, and Mortal Kombat kind of started the channel, because the idea literally came for me to start uploading videos like, wait, I get the combat pack. If I get the combat pack, I get these characters early, so I get to show off what Jason Voorhees does for the first time, because that's what everybody was all was about back then. So it's like, ah. So yeah, Mono and I are big Mortal Kombat fans, which also means we have a lot to critique the damn franchise about. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get into why we're here. What 5 things do we want to see in Mortal Kombat 12? And you know what? Let's go.
Cut out?
No, I hope not. What did
I heard you.
Where did I leave off for you, Maddie?
You were talking about Jason Voorhees, and then you just kind of dropped off, and it was silent for a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
No, I heard everything you're saying.
Yeah, TLDR, it was just talking about how my channel is technically 11 years old, but hasn't really had any videos put onto it since, until 2015, so fun times. Any hoodle noodle, I believe we need to get in on this. Yes, this is a big yes. Look, there's a reason why we were geeking the fuck out when Kerry Tagawa came back as as Shang Tsung. Anyways, back onto the thing. We're gonna go back to the top. Honey, what 5 things do you want to see in Mortal Kombat 12, and ideally, why?
So I only have 2 because I didn't realize this would just be like this vague of a questionnaire system. I thought we have and I'm not the biggest Mortal Kombat person, so I only had 2 things I wanted to had ideas I wanted to talk about.
Well, sure.
But I'm mostly just going to talk about other people's ideas when they bring them up as a way to contribute to the conversation.
Okay.
But what I want are 2 things. One, I just want D'Vorah back. She's the only character I'm actually besides Johnny Cage. I do love Johnny Cage, but he's guaranteed to come back. Johnny Cage is the face of the franchise. I just want D'Vorah to stick around. She's been in 10, she's been in 11. I really want her to be in 12 again. I don't care that the rest of the fan base hates her because she killed the Mouth Girl. I don't care about the Mouth Girl. I like my Insect Queen badass lady.
As someone who loves both Mouth Girl and Insect Lady, I'm constantly trying to defend D'Vorah from people, because it's like, I get it. I get why people don't like her, but consider she's disgusting. She's a little freak. I love her.
Well, we love the
exactly.
And on the topic of D'Vorah, here's the thing. Here's something that's been bouncing in my head for a little while about D'Vorah that I think that I might be the minority in leaning into is I want them to lean into her being the one who kills the classic characters. If she shows up in MK12, I want people to fucking panic.
I want people to panic. Who's she gonna kill next?
Literally.
I want people to panic, but I ultimately want D'Vorah to not kill anybody. But I think it'd be funny if the devs are like, oh, who's D'Vorah gonna kill this time? Except she doesn't kill anybody.
Sure, I'll take that. I'll take a red herring fake out. Absolutely.
That, and if she actually ends up killing someone like Sub-Zero, I might have to rethink my thoughts on her. But
what if she just kills Raiden for bullshit, no way that could have possibly happened, but they just decide anyway because they want to just piss off everybody, so she kills Raiden.
I mean, in Mortal Kombat X, her ending has her using Shinnok as a living incubator, so why not?
God, I want D'Vorah back. Just don't make her kill anybody. Please stop pissing off the fans with her. Just let her be gross and weird, and just kind of let her do her thing.
My other thing I really want for the franchise is, so the DLCs, whenever they come out, they usually will get some sort of TV or movie property to have a character show up and stuff. I forget her name I'm really bad at remembering names. The Last of Us girl.
Ellie! Oh!
Ellie. I want her to show up as the DLC character for the series.
Oh!
Because her... The Last of Us is, especially Last of Us 2, is infamous for a lot of really amazing, gory, complex takedown maneuvers where she'll take down like 20 people in an instant with no pause or breath. That is Mortal Kombat Ultra Kill combo status right there. She is born for the level of cinematic stuff happening on Mortal Kombat.
And that solves two of my biggest issues with the guest characters, and that they're not using any video game guests since Kratos, and they haven't done a female yet. So I say bring it the fuck on. Let's do it.
Yeah, we just got Last of Us, the TV shows, come out recently. Everyone loves it. It's right on the public perception again. This is the perfect opportunity to put her in Mortal Kombat. She can be a zoner. She uses the bow and arrow. She keeps people away, and then she brings out the axe to smack people around when they get in close range.
Yeah, totally. Or knowing NetherRealm, they might do Joel, but with an Ellie assist. Would that be okay?
That would be okay too, though. I just feel like with Last of Us 2, the perception is going to be more on Ellie as a popular character than Joel. But Joel is definitely a version as well. You could. I mean, if this is Mortal Kombat, since X and 11, they've been doing the Echo Fighters as two different styles of character combat. They could straight up just have Joel and Ellie as two versions of the same character, with one version of Joel having a little kid Ellie as his specials can launch little kid Ellie as an assist to help him out, versus another version of the same character is just a grown-up Ellie with the same abilities but she doesn't have the assist.
Maybe. It's certainly worth thinking about. I did not consider the possibility for The Last of Us to be a good guest property, but I mean, shit, it works. People want Jill Valentine from Resident Evil. Why not have Ellie?
Oh, I didn't even think about Jill. Oh, that would be a really fun choice.
It's weird we haven't gotten any of the Resident Evil characters, to my knowledge.
Didn't we get the big Terminator giant guy from Resident Evil 3?
No.
No. You might be thinking of Marvel vs. Capcom, because I know Nemesis is in a few of those.
Yeah,
Nemesis and Jill are both in MVC3, but no Capcom character yet has shown up in Mortal Kombat.
If we do get to discussion on guests later down the line, I do have a Capcom character to mention, but I'll hold off on that.
Yeah, totally fair.
Well,
is it Mega Man?
Maddie, you're up. And the two things I wanted to talk about was just D'Vorah and Ellie.
You know what? That's totally fair. What do you got, Maddie?
Well, now I love the Mouth Girl so much. She's my number one, my one and only. But I'll get to that. My first thing was actually less zoners, because even to me, as a guy who does not play fighting games, the amount of zoners is ridiculous. Come on.
Yeah, tuning into some of the tournaments, and it's just Cetrion versus I don't know, trying to think of another zoner character from 11 specifically. I
mean, Frost, she's kind of a zoner.
Yeah, true. I just remember Cetrion was everywhere, and her entire thing is that she's just chucking rocks and shit, and it was just the most boring thing to watch.
She likes to push people back a bit.
To be fair, I like Scarlet, so I'll let her have a pass.
Besides, Scarlet's zoning isn't throw stuff all day or try and recreate some sort of weird hentai thing. By the way, I know this channel doesn't make any money, so I'm allowed to cuss.
Oh yeah, I have been kind of cussing since the start.
but Scarlet's kind of more the mid-range zoner with her weapons and stuff, so that's at least interesting to watch and play. but like
You
with
know, Scarlet does summon a blood tentacle. That is one of her moves.
She does summon a blood tentacle, but she doesn't have to. That's the thing, right? Like, yes, she can keep you full screen, but she is also super nice at the mid range with her weapons. Whereas Cetrion is like, stay the fuck over there, don't come near me. Same with RoboCop.
Oh yeah, I
I
shamelessly fan that Cobra Cannon. I don't care, man. I love it so much.
Well, who doesn't like a big
I
honking
didn't
gun?
even know Scarlet existed.
Blood Witch type. She was originally a hyper rushdown super ninja, and then they made her lead more heavily into the Blood Witch aspect for MK11.
Gotcha.
So she's...
Oh, actually, that does remind me of an MK11 character I would like to see come back, and that's that guy who could mess with the clock.
Oh, Geras! Fuck,
Geras,
I've got shit to talk about for Geras, but yes, I would love Geras to come back.
All right, sorry.
So my next thing was that I wanted... Again, I only had 3, but my third one is super detailed, so... But yeah, my second one was I want actual classic skins. You know when they give you like the quote-unquote classic, and it's just like the same thing they wore in MK1, but like with HD textures? No, I want like the actual, like...
Oh, do you want them to have
model.
like the digitized sprite effect or something?
Yeah, that. Like
Oh
how
my gosh.
they ported that Tomb Raider 1 Lara into the reboots. And like
That's the only way you'll ever get me to buy a classic skin.
Super HD environments, I want that.
That's the only way that you'll ever get me to buy a fucking classic skin is if it's got that specific gimmick.
Yeah.
I think it was Virtua Fighter 5 that included a mode where every single character in the game had like polygonal like 3D sprites.
I think that
like,
was 5, yeah.
Yeah, like you could make it so that they look like the classic like arcade mid 90s polygonal versions of themselves, and it's just that's so funny. That'd be really funny to see for like MK.
Do it, you cowards.
Yeah, and they've got to like, if they've still got the original sound files for the effect, you got First of all, email them to me, and I can use them as a ringtone. I will need that glossy WAV file in my inbox, but also use it for the thing.
Wonderful.
And then my third one was that... Okay, so it's like a two-parter, kind of, but my third thing was that I want, like, zero or minimal story focus on Scorpion Sub-Zero, because in MK11, when they resolved that decades-long rivalry, only to bring back OG Scorpion, start it up again, resolve it immediately by killing present-day Scorpion, I got so mad they lost the right to those two boys ever again in the story. I'm sorry. You can't do that. You can't do that. Was such a bitch move.
Yeah.
Those fuckers, those guys shouldn't have touched time travel.
Yeah, I was genuinely considering just like not having them in the game straight up, but they would never do that.
It wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be the first time Scorpion missed a Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
what if they just make a new child character that's just Sub-Zero and Scorpion together?
Well, I mean, they did that with Johnny and Sonya. Why not?
Well, actually, that kind of ties into like the second part of this. It's like you've got other stories to tell. So tell them, do a story about like all the robot characters, or something like that.
Yeah, can we get a game where Cyrax gets to do more than just kill himself, please?
Yeah. This is like that thing about having, Scorpion and Sub-Zero in one character, take Frost and have her like experiment with modular skill sets or something. Give her some fire stuff. It's like I know what I just said about Sub-Zero, but I would dig on a story that's not Scorpion and Sub-Zero, but Frost and Sub-Zero, and how they like.
Yes. Sorry, continue.
Two different. No, that's all right. There are two different views on the clan and like the directions they should take, or like I've run it on this on Twitter earlier today, but like follow through on Melina's tower ending, in 11 where she fell in love with Tanya and like became a mother, and like let's see that journey, you know.
As I mentioned in the replies, please, Netherrealm, for the love of God, put a little bit more crumb of gay in MK. I'm begging.
Look, I don't mean this in any like mean way whatsoever. But let's let our bisexual disasters try to figure out parenthood.
What if Devora kissed another woman?
But this time without the vomiting bugs
and the murder and all that. You know what?
You guys remember that that Mortal Cuddlers video from Brian David Gilbert I linked?
Yeah.
Yes,
Thinking about Devora's one where he's like, if you've got holes somewhere on your body, she will put bugs in them.
Oh Lord! Look, and speaking on the gay rep, I'll finish up the tangent here real quick. But can we get Kung Jin a boyfriend? God damn it!
Please.
Yes.
So if you can pair characters at random in MK11, you can give Jin a boyfriend.
Yeah, because like of all the ones, I was like, I did not think they would pair with Tanya.
Give Kung Jin Kai.
It could work. I've seen people do it. I've seen people
do
AUs for it.
Give him a Barry grappler boyfriend.
Oh no, are we gonna give him Tor?
We're gonna give him Zangief.
Mortal Kombat.
Fuck!
Just make the Mortal Kombat answer to Zangief and give him to him.
well, Kung Jin is almost perfect twink material, so...
Yes!
So moving right along, Maddie, what was your number 3?
Oh, that was it. The Scorpion Sub-Zero, I'd like to see more stories.
Okay, cool. Hang on. Mono, why don't you go ahead with yours, and I'm gonna ask, and I'm gonna have to quickly do stuff real quick.
I realized a lot, of my 5 things are kind of stuff that's a bit of a direct response to MK11 and how I would change things.
Yeah, that's fair.
So the first one is that I kind of, I know this isn't, everyone's preference, but I would like to see faster-paced gameplay again and, more combos. Because MK11, the way the system in that game worked, while I understand why they did it, they wanted to make the game a bit more easy for people to pick up. I feel like the way they changed things kind of made things less interesting. For example, you have a Mortal Kombat game where you have to spend meter for Scorpion Spear or Sindel Scream to work as intended, which does not feel right. I get it when it comes to or Injustice, because that's a whole different thing. But for Mortal Kombat, I shouldn't have to spend so much meter just to do a little bit of a combo.
Not to
make it's definitely Injustice 2 was definitely a staging ground for MK11 when you compare the two. It's definitely a more polished Injustice. But even though they changed it from just stat bonuses, Injustice 2 you had gear that had stat bonuses, and MK11 it's just cosmetic, which is an improvement, but there's still way too much stuff in there.
Yeah. My biggest hope for MK12, at least from a gameplay perspective, is that it kind of goes back to not exactly like MKX or Injustice 2, but I want combo systems like that again.
Yeah,
but there's a bit
really
more
like
freedom.
And the
3 variations.
And the thing too, speaking on that, part of the reason why it works, with, why you for Injustice 1, or you know how in Injustice 1 and 2, Scorpion and Sub-Zero had to spend meter to get combos off of their most iconic moves?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense, because Injustice has 4 bars of meter. MK traditionally had 3, and Mortal Kombat 11 had 2.
Yeah, it just wasn't a system I really liked.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was 2, but then it was it was 4, but then it was split into 2, so you had meter for blocking and meter for attacking.
Yeah, you had defensive and offensive meter, which I understand why they incorporated that, but I think at the end of the day, it just wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And it also kind of led into I get why fatal blows were separated from meter. They wanted people to use them more. However, I kind of think they were kind of annoying. They kind of broke up the flow of the game. Whenever 2 people were at low health, it was more or less, okay, whoever presses fatal blow last wins. it just wasn't a mechanic I really enjoyed. I'd kind of prefer to like attach the super moves to meter again, and I'd also kind of prefer they make them a little shorter.
Well, and leaning into that, right? One thing about that that leans kind of into that is, why didn't you make it cost both offensive bars to use Fatal Blow? Like if you want a regenerating Fatal Blow, have you below 30% and have both bars to use it. But if you're trying to do a combo, then you can't. I don't know. It was just a shot in the dark idea.
Mm-hmm. My second one is a bit more risks with the roster and the characters they decided to put in. Because I feel like Mortal Kombat 11 tried to play things like way too safe for my taste. Because I get at the end of the day they want to have as many of the classic characters as possible just so that there's that brand recognition. But that was also what MK9 and to a lesser extent MKX was. So I think with MK12, I think maybe consider letting certain characters sit out the roster. Like, for example, I think I would be really fine if if Sonya and Johnny and Kano and Jax maybe sat out the game.
Yeah.
Jax deserves a break at the very least, because
Jax shouldn't have even been in 11.
I mean, once
what
we
did they
come
do
back
with
to
my boy?
once we come back to the top of the recording order, should we just like talk about characters a little bit? Because I mean, it's clearly on all of our minds.
Sure.
So.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
what characters would you like to see in MK12? Why the hell not?
Yeah, but let's finish this section first.
Yeah. So I also I just pretty much have like a better mix of like 3D era characters. I know Ed Boon mentioned like bringing back more of them in this game, and I guess we'll just wait and see if that's actually like legitimate or not. But I think after the big splashes Tanya and Fujin have made in the past few games, I think it'd be worth, bringing back certain characters more.
Tremor. Like if you want to talk about characters that made a big splash that still like continues to this day, MKX is 8 years old and people still want Tremor back.
Yeah. And I don't blame them. Tremor was super cool. People like the ninjas.
And Tremor was fucking creative. Like, Earthbender, sure, but like, let me throw gold and lava and jade and rocks at you.
He was just a cool character. I couldn't play him to save my life, but he was cool.
Tremor's my funky little exile, and I love him so well. Little, I had canon him as being 7'2", but still.
My number 3. Partially, I talked about this before on Barbara's show, but it's improvements to the in-game animations and the soundtrack. And what I mean by in-game animations is that a lot of like fighting game fans have given NetherRealm games a bit of flack for a lot of the like in-game animations, like when characters are like doing special moves and stuff like that, being pretty stiff and like having other sort of little issues. I'd like to see that get improved. I'd like to see NetherRealm maybe not mocap people for like the actual gameplay animations. Like absolutely mocap people for like the cinematic stuff, But for when people are just like throwing out attacks and stuff in regular gameplay, maybe like I guess hand animate it. I'm not sure. I'm not like the biggest like I don't have a lot of knowledge.
I can contribute here actually. Because do you remember Rose in Street Fighter V?
Yes.
And you remember how her animations worked and whatnot?
Yeah.
There was a behind the scenes video that Capcom released when they had announced Rose, where they kind of showed, hey, they did mocap and then they tweaked the animations afterwards. So that hybrid system, I think NetherRealm could absolutely benefit from.
Like, I definitely want some more expressive animations and ones that look a little less stiff. Because, like, if you noticed in MK11, a lot of characters, when they're moving, like walking or jumping, their top half does not move. Like, it's just very awkward looking when you notice it.
Well, it just leads to fence punching, where it just looks like the person's trying to, like, punch over a fence that's not, that they can't walk around.
Yeah, it's just very weird and clunky, and I kind of hope they improve that. And then as for soundtrack, I mentioned, like, hey, Street Fighter and Guilty Gear are known for giving each of their characters like specific theme songs for like every single game, or Killer Instinct, for example. If Mortal Kombat has like the budget for it, maybe give every character a song. I think that'd be fun.
I would love a theme song for all the different Mortal Kombat characters. Fucking like Scorpion would have the most heavy metal song ever.
Dude,
For sure.
That,
they gave that like the guy who remixed the theme song as Sub-Zero skin.
Let's not do that again. That was a weird decision in MK11.
Like, imagine something like Revengeance's Rules of Nature, but for like Scorpion.
God, that would be
you
so
know what that
cool.
you know what that reminds me of actually. On that topic, do you guys know the Immortals, right? The guys who did the Mortal Kombat.
Yes. Yeah.
They released an album for it, right? And in the album, which I will post in the chat, and I'll probably try to post in the show notes. This album has a Johnny Cage track, a Kano track, a Sub-Zero track, a Liu Kang track, Techno Syndrome, a Scorpion track, a Sonya track, a Raiden spelt with a Y because that was apparently a thing in the 90s, a Raiden track, and a Goro track. They didn't give one for Shang, but still, 8 of the classic Mortal Kombat characters had their own theme song in the 90s. Why didn't you keep that going?
We need that back.
We need that back.
We need to bring that back. Absolutely.
Like, you see people talk so much about like Guilty Gear character themes and Street Fighter character themes and how much hype that brings to those characters.
Guile.
Like, Mortal Kombat could have that.
Guile.
They could have that.
The fucking Bridget theme song has remained constantly in play on TikTok
Love.
for nearly like 8 months now.
I don't use TikTok,
I
but I
don't know
can
how
only
long-
imagine. I can only imagine.
Good
I don't know
lord.
actually how long Guilty Gear Strive has been the DLC for Guilty Gear Strive has been out, but it's been out for a long time and it's never stopped being played.
Everybody slap a Bridget on their songs and their videos.
I don't blame them. Brisket brought a lot of memes.
Yeah, and Guile brought in the memes. What number was that one? That was number 3?
Number 3, yeah.
Okay.
Number 4 is actually character based, so I'll hold off on that for now, because it's just pretty much characters I'd want to see in the game more than most.
Yeah.
And then number 5 is, and I might need to explain myself a little, is to change the game's visual style a little bit. I don't mind the realism thing, but at the same time, I'd like to see something to make it stand out better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what they need to do, but like, look at something like Tekken 8 or Street Fighter 6 and notice how much style is oozing from those games. Mortal Kombat 12 could use like a touch of that.
Well, I think part of that, Tekken, whoever the fucking Tekken animation team is, I know those animations are technically 20, 30 years old at this point, but they've refined and they've tweaked them and they still look godlike for a start. So extra animation flair would definitely help there. But also, just have more shit happening. Like, Injustice 1. In the Hall of Justice stage, if you're outside of it, there's another fucking fight happening in the background between Giganta and Atom Smasher. Like,
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah,
allow more
actually
shit to be.
how you could-
Go ahead, honey.
I had an idea you could do to spice up the to give something new to happen on the screen. Take the fatality, where when a person is getting you in a combo, there are various type of burst mechanics in various games. For this, make it be where you can turn the opponent's move into a fatality to end their combat, where you just get put into the opponent's fatality, take a bunch of extra damage, but you're like reset back to neutral.
Okay, so like
So you just like in cool fight scenes in like anime or something where somebody will just let the person stab them like their sword right into their gut, so then they can grab the sword and punch the person and they don't have their weapon anymore. Do that in fucking Mortal Kombat where somebody tries to do their juggle combo and you just force them to do the the fatality move, which knocks you back off screen, resets back to 0. You take a bit of extra damage because you just got a fatality done on you. But like it's like it fits the flavor of Mortal Kombat insanely.
I know what you know what? I know what you're talking about because fatalities are generally you kill them and you're done and all that. Fine. But but I can see what you mean, and I think what that would entail, and I'm actually gonna kind of change one of my things because I'm gonna change one of my things because Mono stole it.
I really like the mercy system.
Yeah, like the mercy
mercies
system
were
is
fun
a
to
really
bring
fun
back.
idea. But I'll talk about it because the TLDR idea is that with combo breakers, what if like the combo breaker was a full sequence, not just a get off me move? You know what I mean? I think that could be a fun idea to kind of lean into, like, add the blood. I like the idea of the crushing blow. You know what I mean? But if it wasn't so restricted, the crushing blow I think would be exactly what you're talking about.
It'd be like a reverse crushing blow, where instead of doing a crushing blow to do extra damage and finish your combo, your opponent can cause a crushing blow to happen on themselves.
I've seen people bring that up for like Havoc, since his whole thing is like having a bit of a crazy move list and like like body horror contortion stuff. But like I could probably save on Havoc for later discussion.
For sure. Yeah.
But overall, like when it comes to this one, I think like when I mean like change the visual style, I mean just add some more flair to like the presentation.
Instead of like, you know how in MK11 Scorpion will like do the spear, pull you in, slash you in the back, and then just sheath the sword. I think a great example of that would be follow through with most of the animation as per usual, but have Scorpion like twirl the blade back into his into the sheath instead of just putting it back there.
Yeah.
So
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. So is that you done then, Mono?
Yeah.
Okay. Before we continue, we were originally going to have another guest, but they couldn't quite make it in today. But they did leave me with a couple of points that they wanted to talk about. Number one, more stage variety.
Oh, for sure. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
MK11 was a good step up, but I'd like to see
They actually didn't
just a little bit more.
They actually didn't like Mortal Kombat 11 stage selection. They found it bland. But more stages certainly couldn't hurt. You know. Like,
oh, definitely.
And I kind of agree with them on this one, because 3 of the stages are the fucking hourglass. What?
Yeah.
Why? Why couldn't you have just swapped it back and forth like you had with the infected Deadwoods versus the normal Deadwoods?
Also, bring back the subway.
Bring back the... Yeah, like, I wouldn't mind... Like, that's the one classic element for MK that I actually wouldn't mind too much, is, like, bring back the classic stages, because you can do so much with your prompt. The trees have mouths. There you go.
Actually, hot take in terms of updating Mortal Kombat's visual style, they should make it 3D again.
Wouldn't be the first
Go
time.
back to 3D. I thought Mortal Kombat's 3D system, especially Armageddon, had one of the more unique mechanics and systems for fighting games, with every character being a stance character with multiple different stances under their belt. That was such a unique system for a fighting game.
Oh yeah, two unarmed and a weapon was fucking cool. Which
I wouldn't mind potentially seeing 3D gameplay again. I think if like the problem with Armageddon is that they had so many characters that they really couldn't do too much with the gameplay. But I feel like if we're starting with like 20-something characters, there could be so much more they could do with the system to start off with.
And that would be a great way to tweak the variation system. Instead of like, if you pick Scorpion, you wouldn't pick a variation of Scorpion, you would have dynamic variations. You know what I mean?
I'm still on that subway thing. And I know you guys are talking about a subway station, and I'm looking at it on the wiki, but God.
Look.
You thought about the restaurant?
Yeah.
Look,
I need that. I need that so bad. I need Sub-Zero and Scorpion fighting in the middle of a subway.
And in the
That
background, you
would
just see like
be-
the under.
That's just,
And that
like,
and that would
franchise chain, and then like different variations of it, like Subway, McDonald's, Burger King.
and
In
then
every single version, you just have the underpaid teenage worker sitting behind the counter, not able to really do anything.
They're
other than
fighting
just, like,
too.
watch.
They're fighting with a customer. That's the background.
well,
fight.
we got permission from the two jacked ninjas over there. Let's beat the shit out of Karen. But I mean, actually, leading into that like genuinely, that would actually be super cool for 3 reasons. 1, more stage variety, which is super duper cool. 2, it brings back some of the camp that Mortal Kombat's been missing in the last couple of games. And 3, if you want brutality in interactions, a fast food restaurant is perfect. Knives, buckets full of fryer oil, sandwich meat. You could, like, imagine if a stage interaction was grabbing a sandwich that was ordered by someone and just throwing it at someone. The teenager prepares it for the customer again, and then you just throw another sandwich at him.
Why go there?
Okay,
We
but
could have like
straight up-
another. Hope you first.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh,
I was
okay.
just about to say, in terms of guest characters, straight up bring back the Burger King. Remember when they had like full-on Burger King video games? Just have the Burger King as a DLC.
Oh my god, I had the bumper car one. I had that when I was younger. I don't know where it went, but I had that Burger King bumper
the
car
Xbox
game.
360 and what was with the Xbox 360
Okay,
and
how
the
about-
fucking Burger
How
King?
about this?
Remember
Yeah,
the stealth game where you had to sneak and put burgers in people's pockets to make them eat them?
That's so weird.
What?
Guest character, the Noid.
That is true. He is pretty. He'd be like the next horror character they could bring back.
Oh, good lord. Now I'm just getting Yoda flashbacks from Soul Calibur 4.
Oh yeah, they did put Yoda in that game, didn't they?
Which was funny because Yoda
Actually-
was actually super low tier for some reason, but
You could barely touch him.
4 characters with a lot of staying IP and fan base. What about Freddy from Freddy Fazbear?
Oh, I thought you were gonna go with Kruger.
Yeah.
I was
I mean,
like, yeah, we got
Freddy
that.
a
Fazbear.
Kruger redo would be nice, but I mean, people have talked about Five Nights at Freddy's joining Mortal Kombat before, and honestly, they could do worse. They did worse! They did worse with fucking Alex Murphy! I'm sorry, RoboCop fans, but that was the epitome of last-minute guest character picking right there. Oh, Lord. Oh, lordy lord. And they did their best.
But you were about to say something, Manu, before I interrupted you.
I actually don't remember, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come back to you eventually. The other thing was a character thing, and I'll just make it real quick, because they want Doom Guy in Mortal Kombat. Now, I know a lot of people want Doom Guy, and a lot of people are freaking out, oh no, a guy with guns! To be fair, Doom Eternal Doom Guy has a lot going for him. I mean, ejectable sword, fire out of his shoulders. The weapons are fucking nuts. So, as far as, like, gun... And he is savage up close. Like, he can have a command grab that's a glory kill animation. So... Plus,
I think actually it would be really cool if he had a command grab that gave him health back, just like in the games. So he could be that could be a really interesting design play for a grappler character who could recover HP instead of doing massive extra damage with their grabs. They just get back HP with their grabs.
could do. He's fueled by the rage, as it were.
Yeah.
That's kind of a neat idea. Plus, I mean, you can limit his gun repertoire considerably. Like, all he needs is the super shotgun, which has a grappling hook in Doom Eternal, so...
You could also do like a cool limited ammo situation so he can't just spam his ranged fire attacks, so you have to do the grab to get the ammo back for his weapons.
Use...
Pop, dead shot. Pop.
Yeah, fuck headshot. Like, allow
They
for
did
like
limit
an instant
for Aaron
ammo
Black,
shot
though. They
thing.
didn't give him a mag.
What?
For Aaron Black, they did in the MK11 give him like a bullet limit though.
For his rifle, but not for his revolvers, which was fair.
Oh, for yeah.
Because nobody should be landing an 8-hit combo from full screen with projectiles, so...
Oh, I don't know. They do that in fuck, forgot the name of the game. The
Well, I know...
not DPL, not DPL. What is it? It's the fighting game with no motion inputs.
I know what you're talking about. fucking
DP.
first strike or whatever the fuck, something strike.
It was like a 3-letter acronym game that was based off of an existing IP of like dungeon something.
Weird.
Oh, DNF Duel. That's what you're
DNF
thinking
Duel,
of?
yeah, thank you. DNF Duel had a tier 1 character who just did like full combo on you off screen with his ammo.
Yeah, that's totally what it is. But that was a contribution from the guest who unfortunately could not make it this time. But now I'm up, and oh boy, do I have some fun ones. Did you have something to say before I started?
I was looking forward to what you were going to say.
Oh, cool. Well, first off, this one's going to come out of the blue. Stage transitions. Well, and for anybody confused, this wouldn't be the first time that Mortal Kombat has stage transitions. They had them in UMK3, and I think in the MK3 line of games. They had them in the 3D era games, and they were going to come back in Mortal Kombat X after they implemented them in Injustice 1. There's actually concept art that exists that shows transition zones on the street level, but that never happened. But I think it would be super cool to see them if there was a way to, like, instead of doing the heavy launcher system to do transitions, if you landed let's say you land an uppercut after doing 6 hits. After doing a 6-hit combo, you do an uppercut in the corner, boom, that's a stage transition.
Actually, I had a different idea just now. What if instead of an uppercut, it was an overhead? That if you end the combo with an overhead, you'll smack them downward into the earth, and the screen flips, and now you're in a hell dimension version of the screen. You literally punch them into hell.
That could be one of the stage transitions, because in UMK3, you could go to the hell stage and uppercut somebody from hell to, I think, the throne room stage. Mm-hmm. So if you inverted that and had different moves that trigger different stage transitions, that would be fucking cool.
I think if I were to incorporate stage transitions into MK again, I think I would do it similarly to how Tekken does it, where I wouldn't even say they're like, as I don't want like super long cinematic ones like Injustice, because I feel like, again, that would just kind of kill the flow of MK gameplay.
Plus, Mortal Kombat's not that kind of game. Like, you can get away with it in Injustice because it's superheroes, but...
Yeah. I think with MK, I would do it like Tekken, where you can break a character off of like a balcony and they fall below, or they fall through the floor, or you can break them through the wall, stuff like that.
Yeah, that would totally work. And I mean, you could almost have it where, like, a good example of this is the Shaolin Trap Dungeon stage in MK11. If you go all the way to the right, you can actually see the Dragon Grotto on the other side. Imagine being able to transition back and forth between those two stages that way.
That would be pretty neat.
And one last thing on this particular subject, speaking on Injustice, why, if they do stage transitions in MK12, they need to bring back a variation of the Injustice 1 Batcave elevator stage transition. It is my favorite of the Injustice series, because you kick them into an elevator, your character runs in and just beats the shit out of them in the elevator, and it's like, my god, why didn't they bring, like, there should be, in any game that has a stage transition, there should be a personal stage transition of some kind. Like that. I think that would be super cool.
I think that one, and this is just my bias towards the specific character, the one in Injustice 2 where you hit them into the sewer and Killer Croc just starts beating them up in the sewer.
Yeah.
I like the ones with the cameos, like the Trench Queen.
Yeah.
Black Manta.
Yeah, Black Manta. Yeah, and those are really cool. Those are like my second favorite. Those are like A+ tier, but the S tier is the personal. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you in this elevator until we get to the next part of the stage. Okay, cool. Bye. Bam, 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 bam.
Need more stuff like that for sure.
Number 2 for me is less reliance on classic characters. Mono kind of talked about it, but I want to go into more specifics for this one. I cannot stand the fact that in Mortal Kombat 11, we had not 1, not 2, but 5 characters that belonged to 2 different families that were so interconnected they may as well be one big family. Get the old heads out. And if I'm going to give specifics, I think only 5 to 8 classic characters should be in the next game. Full stop. Like, the 5 are the shoe-ins, so that's Sub-Zero, Raiden, and Scorpion. And then Kitana and Mileena, because if they don't include those 2, the fan base is going to blow up again, and then it's going to cause other quote-unquote fans to bully those fans who are just being passionate about their characters. It's just going to be an awful loop. And please just keep Kitana and Mileena in the game if you're going to have the classic characters, so my head doesn't blow off, please. But honestly...
You can't forget Johnny Cage.
Actually, I wouldn't mind if Johnny Cage sat a game out on the condition that he is still allowed to mess with the game somehow. If he was like a guest announcer, or he was in the or he's in the background of a stage, jeering and making comments, that kind of thing. But
I think at the very least, I would just make him DLC.
Sure.
If he was the announcer doing all the commentary, like how Street Fighter 6 is doing actual like commentators for the games, if it was just Johnny Cage doing commentators about your match, I would absolutely be okay with that. If it's just that, I'm okay.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I do like all these classic characters. Like, I love Sonya. Before Ronda Rousey got to her, Trisha Helfer, God bless. But like
Peak Sonya.
Yeah, Sonya.
At least voice-wise, Trisha Helfer was peak Sonya.
Totally. Like, Sonya was great, Johnny was great. I fucking love Jax. But, look, Jax needs to retire on the farm and have a good day. Sonya needs to be running ops as the general, and Johnny Cage needs to be shooting another Mortal Kombat movie, in my personal opinion. But like I said, I did give a little bit of wiggle room of like 3 other classic characters. So like if you want to throw in Johnny Cage or Jax or Shang Tsung or anybody like that, that would be super cool. But like, I don't want any more than 8 classic characters, at least in the launch roster. If they're DLC, fine. I know what they're doing with that. That's cool. But it's like, if I see a dozen classic characters on the MK12 roster again, I might lose it.
Like, I don't mind if they bring classic characters back. It's just, again, I want a more healthy mix of characters from, like, pretty much every era of MK if possible.
Yeah, that's why I said 8, because that would be...
MK11 was, like, at the end of the day, was, like, 80% trilogy characters, and then, like, 10% non-trilogy, 10% guest, and it was just kind of a mess.
Yeah,
Who would you want to be the protagonist of the new game if you don't want any of the old guard sticking around?
I say bring back the Combat Kids.
The who?
Cassie Cage, Jackie Briggs, Takeda, and Kung Jin.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Meat. Meat or Blaze. One of those 2.
You know what? Fuck it. You know what? Havoc's the new protagonist. He's got to go.
Making Mocap the new protagonist.
Maddie's. I think Maddie's fixing stuff.
I'll come back.
Yeah, I figured.
There.
Mic trouble?
Yeah, a little bit. My bad.
That's okay. Yeah, so that, like I said, less reliant. Look, it would be too idealistic to have no classic classic characters, but so like a lower reliance on them would be pretty sweet.
We don't want a third strike situation and just piss off all the fans.
Yeah, Street Fighter. The fact that Street Fighter 3 genuinely was not going to have any classic characters, that's a good way to kill the franchise, I'm afraid. Although,
I would agree, but at the same time, I love practically like every character introduced through Street Fighter 3.
Oh no! The new characters they introduced were fucking incredible. It's just that at the very least, keep Ryu, Ken, and maybe Chun, and then you're good to go.
And that's pretty much what Street Fighter 3 did.
Yeah, Street Fighter 3 did keep those 3 around, and it was not enough. It pissed off a lot of fans having only those 4.
Well, yeah, because Well, actually, I remember there were actually beta testing Street Fighter 3, the first one, live in California, and Ryu and Ken weren't on the roster. They were last-minute additions to the first Street Fighter 3, and if I'm not mistaken, Chunners didn't get added until either Second Impact or even Third Strike.
It was Third Strike she got added, yeah.
So yeah, for a little while there, Street Fighter 3 only had 2 classic characters, which is like, ballsy move, Capcom. It didn't pay out, but ballsy move. The third thing, and I think this is something that most of us can agree on, let them get fucking crazy with the moves. Like, okay, like, this is something that has always pissed me off about Mortal Kombat 11's custom variation system. Why are 90% of the moves banned? Like, okay, RoboCop shooting the screen. Okay, I can see that one being banned because while it's cool, it's distracting, and ultimately it could cause problems gameplay-wise because of how it works. Fine. Why are all of the Resurrects banned? They're terrible in this game, and yet they're banned. Scarlet's Blood Clot is banned. Geras' ability to control the clock is banned. No.
To be fair, I agree with...
What's the best thing about Geras? The fact that Geras could control the clock was literally the coolest thing about him!
Yeah, exactly. Me personally, I would have some limits to it. Like, maybe you can only advance the clock and retreat the clock once per match, and then you have to choose carefully, but don't ban it outright.
It's such a cool, unique mechanic.
I can see why they banned it, though, because, like, imagine playing for money, and then you have, like, a life lead, and then Geras just goes, oh, no, I'm just going to add 30 seconds to the clock, and then suddenly you lose the match and you lose the money. Like, I get that. I understand why that's banned.
That's the strategy of playing Geras, that you have the option to manipulate how much time is on the clock. That's the strategy of the character.
I wouldn't say that's, like, even, like, the main thing that defined the character, though. I feel like, if anything, it's mostly, like, the sand stuff and, like, being able to freeze the opponent.
True.
I guess
you're being frozen in time.
for me. That was why I liked Geras as a character, was that he could fucking the cool uniqueness of a character being able to stop the clock or manipulate the time on the clock was so cool.
I think you can still do the messing with the clock system. You just have to tweak it somehow. Whether it's like adding like, because you can only do this once per round anyways, one way or the other in MK11, but adding or taking away 30 seconds seems stiff. Like, if you were to instead have one use of either of these 3 per round, move the clock forward 10 seconds, move the clock back 10 seconds, or stop the clock outright for 10 seconds, I think that's a good balance of really cool utility and really a really strong tool that's not so broken that is a thing. Plus if you add enough recovery frames on anything, it's going to make the move bad. I mean, Shao Kahn's taunts and Shiva's stomp post nerf were always awful, so there's ways to make it balanced, and I would love to see them go absolutely fucking apeshit. Like, I like playing MK9, for instance. Did you know that Shao Kahn had 2 infinites?
Did not.
He has the hammer throw, which is a true infinite on the ground, but if he uses the rising shoulder tackle on you, it is a 100% combo if he lands it 9 times in just one combo, and that's it. And I don't think it's breakable either.
I'm not the biggest fan of infinites myself. I mean, okay, I think you can have as many infinites as you want if you can include my idea of the crushing blow counter blow thing, where you can get out of the combo by of that infinite combo by just taking a shit ton of extra damage.
Or take the Skullgirls infinite breaker system that they have too. The point is that MK11 played it too safe. Let them go fucking nuts again. And then I think that will be really cool. Plus, don't be afraid to get creative with shit. Like, I love the idea of Rain opening portals and stuff, like into the water dimension. Mm-hmm. Just lean into it for a super or something, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, let them get crazy with the moves, I think, because infinites are one thing and whatever, but think about some of the crazier stuff we've seen in Mortal Kombat X, that like Jason's ability to scramble your controls, Alien's face huggers, Tremor's bullshit with the armor, Tanya's teleports. Just let there be crazy.
Tanya's everything.
Tanya's everything. Yes.
Tanya was very, very broken when she came out. Like, I remember she was like I think the only time like tournament scenes had to like actually ban a character. In recent memory, put in like an emergency patch to fix her.
Yeah, that was the only time they had to do an emergency patch. But Noob Saibot in Trilogy's banned. But that's neither here nor there.
I would love Noob to come back. Like, I know he died in MK9, and it's been so fucking long. Just bring him back already.
He's playable in Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh, he was? Okay. I haven't played 11s beyond just watching like people play the game, so I don't know all the nooks and tricks that are going
That's
on
okay.
in it.
Yeah, Noob is in Mortal Kombat 11, and he is a damage monster. Like, especially when they uncorked him with custom variations. Like, I've seen this character do 40-50% in single combos before. It's ridiculous.
Nice.
But yeah, like, allow the nutty shit to come back, and don't be afraid to, like, test and break boundaries. Like, I've done this all the time with things like disable certain kinds of moves, or mess with the opponent's meter, or mess with the clock, reset environmental interactions. That would be something else that'd be super duper cool. That kind of thing. Don't be afraid
That would be a cool thing for Gearus to be able to do is, instead of just manipulating the clock, being able to reset environmental effects.
That would be super dope. And then let's look at and then going to Injustice 2 and the gear moves. Did you know that Dr. Fate has a move that lets them restrict interactables in Injustice 2? Just
No.
That's a move that he actually has in his base kit. And it also buffs the power of certain interactables if he uses them, because he can use them, but the opponent cannot while they're locked. But that can be replaced with a move called Powerless that turns off the opponent's ability to use any meter at all. It is busted because once the aura goes away, you could just set it, and you can set it on knockdown, and while the opponent's supposed to be invulnerable, but give it a couple of tweaks and stuff like that would be super neat. Or how about Canary's body bounce, where she could get a bounce off of her forward 2, or Batman's crazy wake-up options. Superman's invincible super, where he flies off into space, grabs a comet, and slams it on your head before he starts it. Just options, man! Options! That's all I'm asking for!
As long as you don't have Superman's stupid, I'm a laser vision the entire fucking screen and you can't block this shit.
Oh god, that reminds me of something in Mortal Kombat vs. DC that Rooflemonger mentioned, where it was actually possible for Superman to win a round while it was preparing, because the animation was so long that round 2 will start and Superman will instantly kill the opponent because the health bar doesn't heal fast enough. Oh my lord, Mortal Kombat vs. And, oh, by the way, Green Lantern can combo off of a combo breaker in that game. And Flash had a 1-frame, invincible, combo-starting reversal wake-up attack. Mortal Kombat vs. DC was fucking broken, dude. Moving on. The fourth thing I want, this is a pipe dream of all pipe dreams, unfortunately, but for the love of Christ, remove the MTX elements from the game, the microtransactions. Get them the fuck out of there.
Oh my god.
I did a Twitter thing back in December. Do you remember when they released the classic female ninja skins as shop exclusives requiring premium currency?
No, I did not. Well, then again, I haven't really played Mortal Kombat 11 in, like, forever.
Yeah, so the TLDR is that for the classic female skins, which everybody wanted, right, like, just a little while beforehand, they released the, like, Halloween pack, which was, like, Day of the Dead Liu Kang and Slasher Cabal for, like, $7 for, you know, a skin, for 3 skins with 6 variants. This is where Witch Jade came from, too, by the way, for, like, a bunch of gear, a bunch of, like 6 variants of a particular skin and stuff like that, and it was fun. And, you know, for $7, right? But people got pissed off at that for some reason. Well, no, I kind of understand the reason, but moving on. With the classic female ninjas, I did the math. If you, depending on the scenario at hand, you would have to pay between $50 and $112 for the classic female ninja skins via the microtransaction system. I am not making that up.
What the fuck?
I know! Like, because I don't remember how else you were able to cheapen it beforehand. Oh, right, because it was like, oh, you're just buying the skins and you're not worrying about any of the gears or whatnot. But if you were to buy all of the bundles with all of the classic skins, because they released multiple bundles, because they released... You know how, like, in MK11 you would have a skin that has a couple of different... that has, like, 5 or 6 different color variants?
Mm-hmm.
Right? They split each bundle to have 2 variants. Player 1 and Player 2. For each of those variants. And the classic female ninja skins had 6 total variants for 3 characters. So that's 18 bundles you would have had to have bought. You would have paid full price for the first 3, and then the others would be discounted because you're only buying the skins, but you're still paying over $100 in total for all of the skins. And if you're like, I'm only going to buy one bundle because I only main Scarlet or whatever, okay, congratulations, you're going to have to fork out $15 equivalent in a microtransaction for, or 15? Or was it 20? Either way, you would have to fork out upwards of 4 times the amount of money that you had for a microtransaction system that you could instead have gotten all of those in for a single $7 bundle, and we would have been fucking fine.
No more microtransactions, no more live service, no more battle pass shit.
Oh,
I'm done.
fuck.
I'm tired.
Fuck. And here's the
No
thing,
more of
and
this.
here's the unfortunate thing. Jason Schreier, who used to work at Polygon but is now working elsewhere and is like a top games journalist sort of thing, and he tweets quite a bit about the stuff that he can't get into an article. He mentioned recently, in regards to Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League specifically, because it was announced it had a battle pass, right? And he mentioned that it's the dev cycle's fault. Because pretty much every single AAA game that is like that everybody knows about that has been released or is going to release relatively soon has had a dev cycle of between 5 to 8 years.
Yeah, I think I remember that. It was like if a game starts development like right now, it wouldn't come out till like the PS6.
That was something he talked about before, and then he reinforced that with the Suicide Squad thing. So that would explain why Suicide Squad at the very least has a battle pass, because it started development in like 2016, 2017, right when like Apex and Fortnite and shit were super hot. So it was like, and it's probably too late for them to do anything about it now, but like MK12 would have been in development for about 2 years now, at least, because they officially, or let's be generous and say 3 years, because they could have started as early as like December of 2020, but like I don't know, man. Get rid of the fucking microtransactions and like keep it to DLC, and then you're pretty well set. Just don't overdo it like Dead or Alive. Fuck.
Like, did you ever want to spend thousands of dollars just to get various types of like swimsuits for characters? Like, just insane. People are like, oh, how did DOA 6 die so quickly? Oh, gee, I wonder.
Literally. Number 5. This was originally going to be the music stuff, but we pretty well covered it with mono. I'm not bitter, I promise. And it leads into something Honey mentioned, and this is something I've wanted ever since I started playing Mortal Kombat. And it's improve the breakers somehow. Like, I kid you not, the last time I think the combo breaker system was good was Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. Arguably Armageddon. Because in Armageddon and the 3D era and Deception, breakers were a separate resource. You had 3 of them, and that was that. Mortal Kombat vs. DC, you would spend a single bar, and your enhanced moves didn't actually cost bar, it was an execution thing. So so you would spend a bar, get that, fine. Why the fuck are breakers 2 bars? Like, I feel like I'm in the minority here, but breakers are not worth it. They're never worth it. I would rather eat a 58% combo than spend 2 bars on a breaker. Are you nuts? So what
I would take breakers over breakaway like any day though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I totally agree with that. But
I don't know what type of metagame is going on in MK11, because I played Clash of Ninja 4 where they've got 75% meter combo breakers, and it's completely defines the entire fucking game, and everything revolves around whether or not the opponent can just combo break out of you or not.
Yeah. So this is what I'm leaning towards, right? Because I follow the Condiment Brothers, Ketchup and Mustard, from the Piccadilly Nerf Demanders. Those guys are great, but whenever like Ketchup has talked about doing his character histories, and I watch a 3D game, it's like, you know what? If you had 3 breakers and that was it in a fight, like, how often do breakers happen in Mortal Kombat? Like, Mortal Kombat X, let's say. It happens 2 or 3 times a match, at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, why not have 3 breakers for each fighter, And each breaker, yes, it's free, and you can break whenever. But you run out of breakers, you run out of breakers, and that's it. That's one way to do it. Bring back the old way to do breakers. I think that would be a fantastic way to do it. A second way to do it is that you would gain breakers as a separate resource, and then you would be able to do them, but you would have to like still get smacked around a lot to get the combo breaker, but it wouldn't be tied into meter at all. Think of it like a blend between the old combo breakers and Fatal Blow, if that makes any sense.
What if you had a shield icon that you could use, that at any point you could break that little icon, use it as a resource, and you can combo break out of any move. And then you don't get access to that shield for the rest of the game. But at any point you can spend 2 bars of meter. I'm assuming this is MK11 where we're talking about where you only had 2 bars total for your meter. You can spend both of those bars to get a new shield. It doesn't give you any ultra, it doesn't give you any attack, it just resets your combo breaker so that now you can do it all over. You can do the meter again, but it costs you 2 bars every time to reset your shield.
Maybe.
But you can then do it at any point you want, as long as you have that little shield icon.
Maybe. Only if you also, if you tie it to the defensive meter, then make sure the defensive meter regenerates gradually, because that would make sense.
No, it'd be on the offensive meter to balance out. Like, you could either spend your offensive meter to do a combo attack, or you could spend it to be to prepare your shield.
Yeah.
Because combo breakers sound on principle a defensive tool. They're really an offensive tool, because what they are is you are never on defense when you have a combo breaker. You can always immediately shift the tempo so that you're on the offense at that point. A combo breaker is not a defensive tool, it's an offensive tool.
That's certainly one way to look at it, and I kind of like that. But if we lean into the offensive thing, this is the main thing I've been thinking about since probably Mortal Kombat X, so the better part of 8 years now. Here's my idea for the combo breakers. If you're going to keep them being 2 bars, and you're going to keep them being super expensive, let them reflect damage. So let's say in a hypothetical scenario, you are getting comboed and you're gonna lose 50% by the end of the combo, but you break it at the very end. Yes, you took 50%, but you also hit them with 25% damage in a single strike. That adds an intrinsically interesting risk-reward system. Do you break early and do piss dribbles worth of damage? Or do you wait until the combo is right at the very end and then slap them in the face with a big-ass breaker that potentially lets you steal the round from them?
I am absolutely for this as an idea. This is actually a really cool idea that really encourages a risk-reward strategy that I think really fits Mortal Kombat as a thing.
Yeah. Plus think about it this way. Plus think about how. Plus think of like how hype that would be, because then you see it looks like somebody's basic. It looks like someone's basically gonna throw the round, but actually they're hoping that the opponent falls for this and then sucker punches them with a big breaker and steals the round. Imagine all the stuff that happens from this.
Yeah, you would basically end up with a similar metagame to Clash of Ninja at that point, where people are really hesitant to extend a combo at any point because you might overextend the combo and get punished incredibly. And I love Clash of Ninja 4, so any game that plays similarly to Clash of Ninja 4, I am all for.
Yeah, so that's basically what I had in mind for those things. Is like, add the stage transitions, don't rely too much on the classics, get nuts with the moves, remove the microtransactions, and something to make the combo breakers feel more worth it. Like, I know at a professional level they're worth it, blah, 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 whatever. Still, I hesitate to break her pretty much every time there's an opportunity because I don't want to waste my bar, damn it. Let me, if you include that risk-reward system, too, imagine, like, there would still be attacks that you can't break either, so that would make sense. But imagine if you broke on anticipation, like, the opponent was going to finish a combo with a super or something, but you break before they get the super, so, boom, round's mine, bitch. So since this is bounced off of this idea, and we have a little bit of time, why don't we talk about 3 characters that we want in Mortal Kombat 12? They can be a guest character or whatever, but it's 3 characters that you want from Mortal Kombat 12.
Oh God, just 3?
Just 3.
All right, I'll narrow my tiny little list down even tinier.
Yeah, right. Well, does anybody want to go first?
Sorry, Maddie should probably go because I went first twice already this conversation.
Well, I mean, it's going around, but I just wanted to clarify: is it like main roster or guest or
Anything. Main roster, guests, whatever.
Well, Honey can go first.
Okay, I already gave 2 characters technically, where one of them was a joke answer, so I'm not really going to count the Burger King, but I did give Ellie as my first pick that I would absolutely want as a character.
You did say Devora.
I did basically give 3 characters already. I gave Devora, Geras, and Ellie, so I already did give all 3 of my people. But yeah, give me back Devora. I love Devora. She's exactly my style of character to play as, with those long lancing hitboxes, and I love insect-themed characters. I'm a huge insect person. I love just the whole vibe of her character, the fact that she is so much fun. I love Geras. Give back the meta ability to manipulate the clock, make that a permanent part of his toolkit. That was such a cool, unique thing about him as a character. Yes, the sand and manipulation and stopping the opponent is also really cool, but like no other character in fighting games has that ability to manipulate the clock. That is such an incredibly unique thing about him. You can't throw that away about him. And then also, Ellie is made for this type of game. The combo videos people release of her taking down 20 people in a room fits the exact vibe you want for a fatality in Mortal Kombat. The fact that The Last of Us has just been released on TV means everyone is paying attention to the franchise and knows exactly what the characters are and who they are, and they're all in love with Ellie all over again. This is a great way for cross-promotion and a great way for a new DLC character.
I agree, but real quick though, MKX Devora or MK11 Devora? MKX on the top, MK11 on the bottom.
I gotta say, MK11 does look a lot better just in terms of resolution and graphics.
Fair enough. Plus, you know, she is way fucking skeezier in this one. They gave her dreads.
Yeah. Also, I love those hive eyeball socket things on her shoulders.
Better than the spikes.
Yeah, it just looks more insecty versus she looks more like a swarm hive rather than one big insect with a lot of little insects in there. The little cavities on her shoulders makes it look like she actually is like a walking hive,
like a walking beehive of death.
Yes.
That's totally fair. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, it's me. So main roster. Serena and Natara. But those are like the 2 that I really, really want. I'm not too fussed about whoever shows up. I mean, obviously, I have my thoughts on
10 minutes or so?
Oh my god, I can't speak today. Obviously, I have my thoughts on like the old characters, the trilogy gang, and like their inclusion as well. I like the idea that we were talking about before, that like they're in the game but not playable. They're in like stages or like as narrators or something, commentators.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't know, Sub-Zero watching was like to
Sub-Zero watching from his fucking Ling Kuei throne as you're throwing down in the Ling Kuei temple would be fucking cool. That would be a nice callback to MK2 as well.
Yeah, Serena and Natara on the main roster. So I want to give the third one to a guest character, but I don't know who I want in there. This one's a toughie. And for the record, in what are our quick opinions on guest characters? Personally, I love them. They're why I got into the game for a start.
Oh,
and
great.
and think about how fucking creative some of them can get.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat has some of the best guest characters in fighting game history.
Yeah. But
When
like
it
that's
comes,
Oh
oops,
no,
sorry.
you go.
When it comes to guests, I'm like pretty mixed on them. Where I'm like, okay, I'd rather see characters from like the actual series, but then you have situations like Hellboy and Injustice 2, where I'm just like, oh my god, me and the bestie, like it's a case by case basis for me, where I'm like, usually I'm not the most for guest characters, but sometimes a guest that I actually really like gets added, and then I'm suddenly like, okay, I can change my tune a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me personally, I
like
absolutely,
'em.
I absolutely adore guests, but I have added a stipulation after MK11 where they have to add something new and or interesting to the game. Like, all of the guests in MKX added something interesting, at least in some form. Like, you could argue even Jason did, because all of his crazy buffs and shit. But, I mean, the Predator has one of the widest tool sets I've ever seen in a fighting game character, period. Alien is absolutely feral. And then Leatherface, oh good lord. Look, if you ever wanted to understand a casual player's frustration with being stuck in a really long combo, play Killer Leatherface, get hit by a Killer Leatherface and let him do a combo, I kid you not, that lasts over 20 seconds.
I did not like playing against Leatherface or Alien, for that matter, in
'cause
MKX.
They were fucking ridiculous. But, like, going to MK11, Spawn, awesome. God tier guest character. Loved what they did with
I'm
the guy.
always down for Keith David.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Like,
I'll
they
anything
pulled
if
out all the
Keith
stops
David's in
for
it.
Spawn, and you could tell. So Spawn was incredible. The
David.
Terminator, I would have preferred a T-1000, but they did what they could. Plus, he almost made MKX, so it's like, you know what? It's nice to get him in for that. RoboCop, I was not the biggest fan of personally. Rambo, I wasn't the biggest fan of personally, although I understand there are Rambo and RoboCop fans out there. Rambo's warmed up to me a little bit more than RoboCop, just because, you know, Rambo gets to do some fun shit and has unique stuff, whereas RoboCop is stay
Just shoots
away,
guns.
let me enforce the law. And the Joker... And the Joker
sorry.
is my least favorite guest character because I despise the Joker. However, it was refreshing to see them not just make him an Injustice clone.
That, and I like the way they, like, I don't even like Joker that much as a character. I mean, I like him, but at the same time, it's like, you stay the fuck away from Harley.
I like the Joker.
I like Joker.
I
I
don't-
don't like Joker when he's with Harley. That's
Yeah,
like the whole
absolutely.
thing.
I don't think only the worst people like Joker with Harley. Only the worst people.
Well, here's
The hot topicers.
the way I like what the Joker I really like is a blend of 66 Joker and animated series Joker. I don't like it when, like, okay, if you're gonna have Joker go super far, have him kill Jason Todd and shoot Babs. That's basically it. Don't have him like I mean, this is technically a Harley plot, but don't have him, like, rig gaming consoles that were mailed to cancer children to explode or whatever the fuck.
Like,
In my opinion, my Joker is the guy who mutated all the fish in Gotham to have his face, and then sued the government, sued Gotham City for using his likeness by selling the fish in the market.
Animated series Joker! Exactly! That
like,
guy was fucking
MK11
scary
Joker,
sometimes.
like, Joker MK11 worked for me because instead of just being like this extremely edgy character that everyone wanted him to be, he was just like, it's a very whimsical, dark, comedic character.
He's the epitome of what dark comedy is supposed to be. Like, you're supposed to actually laugh at the dark shit he does. Like, look,
Like, he's very goofy and whimsical while also being
he's applying
sadistic.
his lipstick with his own blood, using his knife as a compact mirror. Like, that is the right kind of edgy humor, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Maddie, you had something you wanted to say, I believe.
Oh yeah, I was just ruminating on that third character because Nitara, Serena, I want them in the main roster. So I want to give a third spot to a guest character, but I don't know who. You know what? She's not a guest character, but what's Lee May doing right now?
Nothing. The last
Nothing. Nothing, and she needs to do something.
The last time we saw her, she was an informant in MKX, and she looked nothing like she looks in previous games. Like,
I kind of liked her redesign a little bit. It was like a more grounded take on her instead of just like, oh, bikini and bandana.
Bikini and pink, and that was it. Like, I get that. It's like, I don't mind if they bring back Lee May, I wouldn't mind a blend of the two. Like, give her pinkness, but also her MKX look does look pretty good. So, I'd take that.
I'm looking at Lee May's classic looks. She looks a little bit like Elektra, actually. So I'm gonna say
I was just
seeing that.
I was just seeing that.
Yeah, all right. Serena, Natara, and Elektra. There you go.
You know what? Sure, I wouldn't mind if they did a Marvel character, especially if they picked
What's
someone other
another ninja?
and at least
Daredevil.
One more.
Daredevil
What
would be
about
pretty.
Daredevil?
Daredevil could work. He's been pretty brutal, I think. You know who's a Marvel character I think would make for a fucking excellent guest character, both in the unique aspect and in the absolute savagery he can bring?
Who?
Carnage.
Ah.
Interesting.
When you brought up Marvel, my immediate thought was Blade.
Blade would be
Blade
awesome
would be
too.
really cool.
Wretched Spute, who unfortunately could not make it, is also Teen Carnage. So I just think like because of the whole Carnage symbiote thing, you could do all kinds of really cool, bizarre shit with him. So he would
I think it would be cool to do like a Eddie Brock situation. It's not Eddie Brock. Eddie and the other guy from Guilty Gear, where it's like a puppet character where
Zato, yes.
Zato, yeah, where Carnage and the guy he's part of, I forgot his name.
Cletus Cassidy.
Cletus Cassidy, where Cletus and Carnage play as a team together, where you actually have to where you get to control both Cletus. Because the whole thing about Carnage as a character is that Cletus is just as crazy and messed up as Carnage. Have that be the thing where you can play as both Cletus and Carnage.
That would be pretty sweet. Like, especially if you could switch back and forth which one you start as. Like, do you remember back in Smash Bros. Brawl where you could choose whether you could be Samus or Zero Suit Samus with a button command?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd be pretty sweet. Mono, what are your three?
All right, so first, thank you, Maddie, for bringing up Serena, because that lets me...
I miss her so much.
I miss her so much. I've been advocating for her since 2015, but I'll leave her off my list because she was already brought up, but that is my number one going into this. My first pick is, I know this is like a 3D era that's already shown up before, but I miss Kenshi. I miss my dad. I miss Kenshi. He had such a fun playstyle in MKX, and I just he's always been a captivating character to me. He's super cool.
I do love his personality. He has a very great charm about him.
He's funny as fuck. I love that. He's not he's also one thing that me personally I think is really cool about Mortal Kombat in particular is that its disability representation is actually surprisingly high for a fighting game franchise with as many characters in it that's lasted as long. I mean, Jax is an amputee and Kenshi is blind. Granted, yeah, they ended up giving him stuff to make him, beyond human, but still, he is canonically blind, and he even jokes to Johnny Cage in MKX, blindness has its benefits when mentioning his movies, so...
I think it kind of goes without saying that it kind of makes sense that this would be the place with the most disabled people, considering how fucking brutal and violent this series is. Like, even if nothing really matters in between fights and everyone recovers all the massive damage they have done, it feels like there's at least some bit of weight when half the characters in the series are either have both their arms ripped off or they have their eyes sliced open.
Or any number of things, and that's why two of the most popular characters in the franchises that are also disabled is also super Cheeky Keen. I remember I talked about it with somebody else in the chat and you, Honey, when we did our Disability Pride Month cast.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I think I remember leaving notes for a couple characters back then.
Yes, you did, which was super helpful, by the way. Thanks for that.
Yeah, of course.
So Kenshi and Serena. Who else?
Oh, no, I wasn't including Serena. I was just commenting that she would have been one of the ones I originally would have mentioned. I decided for the second one is a trilogy character that hasn't been in a game in a while, and that's actually Smoke. I'm personally really annoyed that MK9 had brought back Smoke and given him not even just a visual redesign, they like revamped his gameplay entirely. And first of all, like obviously the graphics in MK9 didn't really help him out too much, but they envisioned him as essentially like the pretty boy ninja. I liked him having long hair. I liked him having like a weird smoke effect and his hair kind of having like a smoky effect to it. MKX and MK9 both kind of expanded on his lore a bit. They revealed that he's from like the Czech Republic. They revealed that he's like something about this like an Enra demon that I'd have to look at the wiki page again.
He is an Enra. He is.
Yes.
He became a smoke demon after he was sacrificed to a cult.
Like that's something I wish they would expand on. MK11, he's just absent entirely. MKX is kind of there in the form of Cyber Smoke, but even then, that's just Triborg, and Triborg is not Smoke. So
Yeah.
I don't know. MK11, or MK12, it's time to bring him back and give him a redesign that's like just as good as MK9. If you can't do the long hair, at least give him like a Geralt style haircut or like a man bun or something.
Yeah.
Let him still have long hair.
And can we also
I would love
can we have him hit on everyone? Like, no, it doesn't matter who they are, he just hits on them.
I would love a Smoke versus Noob Sidebot fight, just because my brain has always mixed the two of them up a bunch, because they're both the shadowy people, but one of them is Smoke Shadow and the other is like Magic Shadow.
Well-
and it's just like, have the two Shadow guys fight one another.
Funny you mentioned that, because in Mortal Kombat Deception, Noob Smoke was a thing. So, yeah. So, cool little accidental callback there. And who's your number 3?
So for number 3, I decided I'll also pick a guest character. I'm kind of stuck between two. I mentioned one Capcom one, and I'll bring that character up in a second. The other one I was thinking of is someone who I think will actually happen, potentially, and that's Harley Quinn. As for like a dream pick guest, if there was no limits and they could pick like any single character they want, I would love for them to put Juri Han from Street Fighter into Mortal Kombat.
Ooh, that'd be really cool.
Look at this psychopath and tell me she doesn't work.
Because I would have said Akuma, but Tekken 7 has Akuma, so I think I'll let another Street Fighter character be an MK. And Juri's whole thing.
It needs to be Akuma, just because I have a friend on TikTok who he hates Akuma so much, and he constantly gets Akuma popping up on his which fighting game character are you random number generator things. So it would just be hilarious for him to do the Mortal Kombat one and then get Akuma all over again.
Akuma tends to be like really powerful in practically every single game he's been a part of, so I totally get it. But as for Juri, she's extremely popular. Like, she's one of the few Street Fighter characters past like Street Fighter 2 to really make a huge splash in again, she's one of the
Super Street Fighter 4 was when she debuted, right?
Yeah, and that was like a series of games that didn't really introduce that many popular newcomers, so Juri really made an explosion there. Her whole thing is that she's extremely sadistic. She's very violent. She loves beating people. Put her in MK where she no longer has to be bound by in MK, like in Street Fighter, you just knock out people. In MK, you can kill them. And I think Juri would love to be let loose.
Counter argument though about Akuma. If we put Akuma in Mortal Kombat, we could actually see what the Satsui no Hado instant kill attack actually is, because they wouldn't need to censor it.
That is true.
That is a good point. And I mean, they did kind of cheekily hint at it in Street Fighter V if you ever land the Raging Demon in that game, but like, let them go fucking apeshit with the Raging Demon. Yeah, like I would not be mad if Akuma or Juri showed up.
I just think if Juri shows up and they reimagine her gameplay and give her like a Mortal Kombat-esque design, and they just let her go loose and let her be like violent and sadistic and fun. I don't know. Juri's popular. I think not that many characters from Street Fighter could fit into Mortal Kombat. The only ones I could really think of are like Akuma, M. Bison, Juri, and I guess Urien, but Urien isn't exactly the most like recognizable pick you could go for.
He's
So I
not,
think
the,
I'll
he's,
just
not
go.
the, he's not the most intuitive either, and you know for a fact that the Mortal Kombat fan base would ruin his name, because Urien...
They would just call him Urine or something, or
Yeah.
Urien.
Yeah, they would literally just call him... They would literally call him Urine, and then the MK fan base would fucking run with this.
One worry I have with Jury is just Mortal Kombat hates animating legs, and Jury is all legs.
Think back to earlier when I said improved animations for the games. If they go that, let's make it happen.
Yes, sure. You know what? If NRS really feels like flexing their new animation techniques, why not? Me personally, oh boy. My top 3 characters I would want in Mortal Kombat 12. I'm gonna start with the guest first because it's easiest to just get the guest characters out of the way. I'm torn between a redo of Freddy Krueger, specifically a redo for Freddy, because Freddy didn't get a chance. Was one game short of being incredible in my opinion. Like if they put him in MKX, I think all the dream shit he could do would be awesome. But if I had, a pick I would actually go for that I think would actually be super fucking sick, and I would adore to see, is the Bride from Kill Bill.
Ooh, yeah.
Like that would be really cool.
Like people say, oh, but she's so simple. She uses a sword. Who cares? Give her the most busted ass fucking combos in the game, and give her some Quentin Tarantino flavoring, and you'll be fine. In fact, use the Bride as a vehicle to make other Tarantino references. Like, I don't know, have her throw the briefcase from Pulp Fiction at somebody's head. I don't know.
No, have her, like, carry all the other weapons from the other people she killed in Kill Bill. So she brings out the meteor hammer blade thing, and then she brings out, like, a second sword, and then she brings out the knife and stuff.
Yeah, totally. See, that would be really freaking cool. For me, for my money, though, for the Mortal Kombat characters I want, I'm gonna start with someone relatively obscure. I want Ashra back.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was just looking at her wiki page.
Yeah, Ashra the Holy Demon. Hello.
She has a great look. I love that basket hat.
Yeah,
she's so elegant looking.
The juxtaposition between her being a literal hellspawn demon and the fact that she is like trying her damnedest to be the closest thing to lawful good in Mortal Kombat history. That is a hard thing to pass up. Oh, I just thought of a third guest character, but I'm gonna keep my trap shut because the video is running on long enough as it is.
Also, to comment on Ashra, something I really like about her, like her visual design, is that this was back when pretty much every woman in MK was made to be like extremely skimpy because like sex sells and all that. With Ashra, she was like her design is extremely modest, but she also comes off as like extremely like classy and elegant in a way that I think is just, I don't know, it's very regal. I really like her design.
Indeed.
I think you could do something fun with her now that we have, like, the graphics to do it. Have her, like, pure white costume. Just get more and more blood on it as she fights the opponent. Just, like, gets more and more stained with blood as, like, the fight goes on. So she, like, every time she wins, her suit is, like, stained red.
That would be cool. I think that would look really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I dig it.
Oh, our host ran off to go eat.
Feel free to go nuts. Okay. I guess I could also just bring up some of the other guest character ideas that I think could be really neat. Because, like I mentioned, Harley Quinn, I think she's pretty likely. I think she's so popular, and they put in the Joker. I can see them going like the next thing in his
skin.
This is not something I want because I like the character, but more from this fits the vibe of Mortal Kombat and would make a really good marketing decision to do. Rick. From Rick and Morty. Yeah, Rick Sanchez. His series is already incredibly brutal and violent. You don't have to worry about like tone or anything. Just like the gore in Rick and Morty is equal to the gore in Mortal Kombat. You can easily do the same level of shit. And being able to see the Rick who's almost exclusively drawn in the style of Rick and Morty being adapted to the style of Mortal Kombat, all the gadgets and unbelievable bullshit that he has would match all the bullshit that they can do in Mortal Kombat. Like, I do not give a shit about Rick and Morty as a series or as a show or anything, but like, it fits Mortal Kombat really well, surprisingly.
Yeah.
My only concern
One of
is
the
that, like,
X-Men, maybe.
what's that?
One of the X-Men, maybe. Magic could fuck.
Oh yeah,
Magic would be
Magic would be pretty neat. Who else?
Lady Shiva.
Yeah, I could see Lady Shiva working. For like other DC characters I listed, I also put like Deathstroke because I know he's pretty popular and will be like another bigger pick for like a DC villain. And then this is a completely biased pick. I threw in Killer Croc, but that's just because like I was really gunning for him to be in Injustice 3, and that wasn't announced. So why not just like dream Killer Croc being in something?
I was really hoping we could get maybe Lady Shiva and Katana in Injustice 3 so we could finally have the duel between those two characters.
That would be fun. Who else? Ash Williams. I know that there was like a bit of a licensing nightmare that went on K11. Ultimately led to Ash not being available. I think if they're able to, Ash could be fun. Chainsaw Hand, witty one-liners, Bruce Campbell. It could work, I think.
Yeah.
I also listed Spawn and Predator as returning guest characters, but another couple of
a fun cross-promotion thing you could do. Forgot. My brain is always really bad at remembering names. The Green Ranger from Power Rangers.
Because I know people have brought up Power Rangers for Injustice, and I absolutely agree there.
Well, we're not going to get Injustice. So I'm just suggesting it over here, but just like, because we've had Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, so we have like ideas about how this character would play, and he was basically the protagonist of Battle for the Grid, even though Kimberly was like written to be the protagonist in the game, and then just thrown out, and then Tommy became the protagonist by the end of it. That's his name, Tommy. But it's just like, have Tommy bring him over into Mortal Kombat and have him like have his ultimate just be he summons the Dragon Zord and the Dragon Zord just stomps on you and crushes you into a bloody pulp.
That could be neat. Because like I know you specifically listed MK for Mortal Kombat, but I know that like again I've seen the Power Rangers be up for a discussion for like pretty much any NetherRealm game for a while. I know that there was that Power Rangers fighting game that was out a little bit ago, and that they actually added Ryu and Chun-Li to, which I think is pretty funny. I don't know. I think it's weird that we never had like the Power Rangers show up in anything else in terms of like fighting games.
I agree.
I think that'd be fun.
Boy. Who else? You know what? I really liked Lobo in Injustice 1. He should come back.
I would be so down for Lobo. I'm always down for Lobo to be in anything.
He's so cool.
He's so fun. He's such a dick. I love Lobo. like just like Injustice 1 Lobo, where his super and he's like revving up his motorcycle and blasting like flame and shit in your face, and he flips you off. Like something like that, but a little more gruesome, and like a Mortal Kombat could work so well.
This is specifically I would like for an Injustice series, not for a Mortal Kombat. But
Yeah, go.
I would love Danny Phantom of all people to show up in Injustice.
I actually rewatched Danny Phantom, at least most of it, because the last season was kind of a mess. But I rewatched like 85% of the series last year, and I was like, I would love to see Danny Phantom and some of his most iconic villains in something, because
There
that
is actually a comic that just got announced that's coming out this year.
I'm looking forward to that. I know that there was the Nickelodeon Smash game that came out and kind of stopped getting supported. I know Danny's in that, but like, I mean, like, it's just another appearance somewhere, you know?
Absolutely, I think he would work really well in as like just a traditional classic fighting game character in like Injustice 3 or so as a DLC character. He has so many different abilities, being able to like the moaning whale or whatever that super move is called, his ice ball attack, his various different laser blasts.
The fact that he can like phase himself in and out, so that like he could
Yeah.
probably use it to like avoid moves if he times it right.
Look at all the comics I have bookmarked so you can show up. Oh, you know what? Maybe building on the Carnage thing, we could have like all the symbiotes. We can have like Scream and Mania.
They would make for great alternate skins for Carnage for like or like different builds like how MK 10 and 11 had like different stances for characters as like different playable versions of them. You could have like Venom and Carnage and like Toxin and stuff is all like
Well,
different
I was thinking
skins.
you could get like different play styles. So like Carnage could be like very blade heavy and very like lunge attacks. Scream's got like the big hair, so she could be like a more complex Sindel kind of.
And then Venom would be the bulky, aggressive grappler type character.
Grappler, yeah, I was gonna say he's an all-rounder kind of, but yeah, Grappler makes sense, and then like Riot has the big heavy swing attacks and stuff. Yeah. Oh man, Lady Death.
Lady Death. Hold on.
All like the 90s bad girls, so like Vampirella and all that.
Deadpool was never
Red
put into
Sonja.
a Mortal Kombat game, was he?
Who?
Deadpool was never put in a Mortal Kombat game,
No,
was he?
I don't
Nope.
think so.
He was
would
not.
fit so fucking well.
Probably just in MVC.
Like,
But yeah, definitely in Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
just like imagining Deadpool with his like instant regeneration things. Like, imagine that would be so fucking like. Imagine if you use a fatality on Deadpool instead of your character just sort of standing there victorious. Deadpool immediately comes back up and like demands a rematch every time. Or like will critique and review the finisher that you used. Like, it was okay, but you could have used a more interesting stuff going on here.
Could have stabbed a little more, you know?
Have you considered
I like
adding
that,
to
move.
your repertoire?
I like that move in MVC where he beats you with his health bar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so good. That's so good.
Yeah. You absolutely would need something like that as well.
See, that's pretty much all I really have for like guest characters.
Yeah, same. I don't know enough about Mortal Kombat to really like say, hey, this is a character I would really like, because as I've made it abundantly clear already, I don't even know what character showed up in 11.
I also, for like other characters I'd want to see for like from like Mortal Kombat specifically, I also listed like Reptile and Tanya.
Mm-hmm.
Because like
Okay,
Tanya was a girl boss and I miss her, and Reptile's a little goober. I miss him.
I do really like Reptile's story, and I do kind of wish he would get a break and like actually get to like succeed and be on the winning side for once in his story.
Mm-hmm. He sat out 11, so this could be like a time for him to come back, especially with like even better graphics. I'd want to see how they make him look.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's something I'm always interested in, is if they have this like realistic graphics that are like high fidel and all that, I'm curious how the non-human characters will look.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
Oh, what about like all the Remedy characters? So Alan Wake, Jack Joyce, Jesse Faden.
Who?
The Alan Wake.
I don't know who Alan Wake is.
I've heard. Oh, this
game, Alan Wake from Remedy, same guys who made Control.
Oh,
I don't
like-
know any of these games.
I know Barbara.
Oh, well, you should
Barbara's
play
mentioned
Control.
I think it was either
Oh.
no, it was you that mentioned Control. That's right. That's
Well,
right.
Yeah, because Control fucking bangs. But, yeah, you should totally play Control. But yeah,
Okay.
it's like a lot of surreal sci-fi. So like Jack Joyce and he's the protagonist of Quantum Break. He has a lot of time powers. He can create like little time bubbles and stuff. That's pretty cool. Or like, maybe you could incorporate some of that into Garrus's moveset. Yeah, oh, it's fun. Because he doesn't like stop time around him. He creates like a tiny little localized field, so when enemies are shooting at you, the bullets enter that field and like slow down, and you can move around it. Oh, it's fucking sick.
Okay.
Hey, Sergeant Rock. Sergeant Rock could be cool.
Sergeant. Ooh, I think I've heard of that before. Hold on.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell's writing a comic for him right now.
Nice.
Oh, this character. Okay. That's right, because wasn't there like a DC short for this character? Or are they going to?
so.
I think they're either they made one or they're going to make one. I
think they
do not
did
remember.
I think they made one. Yeah, DC. Sergeant Rock.
Oh yeah, DC Showcase Sergeant Rock. Voiced by Carl Urban.
Oh,
Okay.
shit, nice. And then there was that Jonah Hex showcase with Thomas Jane.
Oh yeah,
what
that's
about
right.
Punisher? Oh, of course, put Punisher in there.
Hi, peeps. Sorry.
Okay.
No
We've
worries.
been rambling the entire time, just listing random characters that we'd like to see in Mortal Kombat. So good luck with all of that.
You know what? I'm gonna keep it all in. The problem is subtitling this thing is gonna be a bitch because I'm gonna because I opted to start subtitling all of my videos, so I might pay someone else to do it. Anyways, so what did I say? I said the Bride and Ashra, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. My number 3 pick. This is gonna be a deep fucking cut here, but give me No Face.
Do it.
Oh yeah, that
I
would
think
be,
for a
that
moment,
would
yeah,
be.
fucking Spirited Away.
No, not that.
That is an idea.
Not that No Face. There is a different No Face in the Mortal Kombat universe who only appeared as a fightable boss in Mortal Kombat Special Forces, which has, if I'm not mistaken, a 2 out of 10 average. And his whole shtick is that, well, he basically doesn't have a face because he blew all of the bits off, and he uses a flamethrower and a shitload of explosives. And he looks like this. If I could get the picture without it, it's gonna be stuck in this, isn't it? Okay, fine. Okay, I'm gonna-
He also
no.
he also had a cameo in the newest animated Mortal Kombat movie, Snowblind.
Yeah, because a bunch of the Black Dragon peeps were there. Yeah, there he is. There's the grungy bastard.
Honestly, I kind of just want Spirited Away No Face now.
I have not watched that movie. I really should.
It is really good. I think doesn't it have Christian Bale doing the voice of the guy?
That was Howl.
Hal. Okay, that was Hal.
Yeah, get this frickin' maniac in there. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
what about
he gets bigger. As the fight he starts as just this simple little guy, but like every time you like hit him or throw something at him or anything, he just gobbles it up and gets bigger and bigger and bigger until he's like covering the entire fucking screen.
That would be highly entertaining. My honorable mention is that, because we won't know what new characters are going to do, because they always do at least 2. They always do at least 2 new characters. But some ideas that I had before we finish up here. So we'll make this quick, and I'll start with this one. Give me 3 new character concept ideas. Like whether as simple as it could be as simple as I want a pirate in the game, or it could be as complex as I want a puppet master with this kind of moveset in the game.
No, I do want a pirate.
Yeah.
Well, we got so many ninjas. Why not have a pirate, right? I mean, you could argue Kano, but bite me.
not a pirate. He's just Australian.
2 more minutes. We'll make this quick. Promise. We'll make this quick and then we'll do the benefits thing. Because I'm almost done.
Okay, well, I got very little time before I gotta go fall down, so...
Okay, I will be...
If I go fall down, then we have to do it...
We'll do that another time. We'll do this another time, Barbara.
Okay, you know what? That's actually a brilliant idea, because I got stuff on the go, too, so I can't be blowing it off forever, and it's almost 2 hours already, so let's make a note for... because I think that's actually... Is that actually something on my list? Because I did a couple... Oh, it was 5 predictions for MK12 and 10 guests, but we can join back up sometime in March and be like... 10 character type or 5 to 10 character types that we want, and then we can think about that for a little bit.
Sounds good.
Sweet.
More than enough. Go do your benefits thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I must hustle.
Thank you for having us on.
No worries.
It's always fun.
No worries. And it's good to hear from you guys too. Don't forget to be awesome, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
Bye.